Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Today we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle as to strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Thank you everyone for staying with us here on Global Television. I'm Louis Agbomo-Fode. Always, it's a delight to know you're joining us here on Global Morning. It's a wonderful day, second working day of the week. There's no better time to be alive. So the question is, would you stay grateful and make the most of the life you have? And today in itself is a blessing. Therefore, what you do with it is all on you. My colleague, with whom I've not done this in a long time, is on the program today, and Ramsey Enoch Agbo, I should say, pleasure to have you on the program. I was just going to say something. Bishop Matthew Kukah was talking during this week and he was saying that most Nigerian presidents were accidental leaders, that they were not prepared for leadership. So I don't know if I can say you're an accidental anchor this morning.
one thing in connection to what you just said, when it comes, you will have to get prepared because it's on your shoulder.
Yes.
I don't have any option.
It's a one-way traffic.
It's a one-way traffic.
Right.
So you just need to pick the steering, hit the throttle, and you arrive.
Off you go.
Off you go. It's good to be here on Global Morning this beautiful Tuesday morning. It's so good that all of us are part of the day. One of the best things that you've done this morning is tuning into Global Morning. So much lined up for you. Thanks for joining us.
I think that's one very smart way to put it. I was just saying that today is a blessing in itself, and what we do today is very important. And hopefully, as a country, Nigeria also understands that today has a lot of potential, and how we maximize, how we harness this potential is also very important. It's the second day in the new week, and people are making plans for their day, but for many people the pressure is stemming from the fact that the Yuletide is around the corner and you have to plan for Christmas, especially for those who understand that the season is basically for family, whether you're doing reunion or you're trying to strengthen the existing bond, or you are the kind of family that loves to take trips during this time. Maybe you're going to the village, you're going to the city where you were raised. Not everybody was born in Abuja, by the way. Not everybody grew up in Abuja. But the question, the point being made is that it's going to be a busy period for many people.
Sure.
But we also need to ensure that you take responsibility for the choices you make and the decisions you take this period, especially as it has to do with those who are on the road. You're driving, you're a motorist, all right? You must understand that you have a responsibility to drive 3 vehicles, not practically, but you have to drive yours. You have to look out for Ramsey who's behind you, and be careful to watch out for Uyi who is right in front of you. So that at the end of the day, everybody is responsible for how they use the road, because The FRSC, as it's always the custom, has come out again this year to talk about how that drivers must be careful, drivers must take precaution, they must avoid night travels, over speeding, drunk driving. By the way, drunk driving is a big offense, but it's still something many of us have not been able to wrap our heads around, how that people still drive while being drunk. All right, of course, we can't stop people from drinking because it's a choice they have to make for themselves. It's their right whether they want to drink or not. However, when your right stops, that's where someone else's begins. Exactly. So if you're driving, whether you're traveling or you're doing an intracity drive, just ensure that you don't drink and drive. We've seen celebrities abroad, Ramsey, who got pulled over and even arrested because there was evidence they had alcohol. They may not have been drunk, but the fact that they had alcohol while behind the steering is already considered an offense. But in Nigeria, somebody will say, I was not the one behind the steering. Did he not drive from Ilorin to Abuja? So how are you not arresting him inside Abuja if he's drunk? How did he get from Ilorin to Abuja?
well, I think that's one thing that you can't take away. Like you said, we're not saying don't drink.
Right.
For those who are already, what do I say? I don't want to say addicted to it. For those who have made it part of their life.
To take a shot.
To take a shot, at least, on a daily basis. Even while I was coming this morning very early, I saw someone picking one of the ones in the sachet. And I was like, this early morning, you know. So some person...
That was before 7.
Before 7, yeah. That's to tell you of how some person's system is used to this stuff, this alcohol thing. But then I think it's more important to stay alive than at least pass out or maybe pass on and you leave other persons suffering. The season has come. You know, when it's Mba month, the road safety starts their campaign. Okay, don't drink and drive. You know, it's better to arrive late than to be a late. You know, because as it is right now, like you said, you're on the road. At that particular point, you need to consider yourself as the only sane person because the person in front of you don't know. I was telling someone jokingly the other time, I said, well, anytime you climb a bike or you board a commercial vehicle, it is risk you're taking because one, the Okada or bike, motorcycle that you're climbing, you don't know if the person has epilepsy and you don't know when it will happen. So in the process, if anything happens, it has happened. So at every instance when you are on the road, you need to think of safety first because drinking and driving is a big offense. Then some persons don't even know the expiring date on their tires. I think there was a time I've had a program with the road safety corps in a station back then, and we're educating people on how to check the expiring dates on their tire because a lot of people don't know that these tires have expiring date, and after that period anything can happen. And this is something that when it happens you don't have control over anymore. So these are very little things, like they seem, but then very important because life is involved. Mba has come. You said something and that caught my fancy. You said every day is a blessed day, but how you handle it, okay, what you do that day is what matters. So the choice now to an extent is in the hands of the individuals, how you are able to maximize the day, because every day comes with its own blessing. But some persons don't even know the process of getting this blessing. Don't be surprised that some shop owners are still at home. Their shops are not open yet. But at the end of the day, 12 o'clock, they will tell you, I didn't sell today. You know, but now that people are rushing, people want to have breakfast, people want to do 1 or 2. Oh, milk is finished. No Bonvita anymore. We need to get a loaf of bread and all of that. But then your shop is still closed. At the end of the day, you blame everything on the economy of the nation, which is not so proper. So there are so many things we need to wake up to as Nigerians.
Well, I mean, Ramsey has just made a lot of points. I'm sure that's a bunch of motivation and inspiration for someone who's watching the program this morning. But we also need to bring you a piece of information, particularly from across our national dailies today. So we're taking a break. When we return, it will be time to bring you big headlines from across newspapers.